Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, rise and fulfill your calling as God's chosen ones. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, have you ever carried a truth so profound that others could not see it, much less accept it? Have you faced skepticism, rejection, or even ridicule for standing firm in what you know to be true? This story begins at the crossroads of clarity and denial, where those who once doubted now stand in the shadow of their shattered illusions, grappling with the weight of a truth they can no longer ignore. To bear the truth is to walk a path of both privilege and burden. Like Noah building the ark under the mocking gaze of his neighbors, those chosen to carry God's light often face isolation and misunderstanding. Yet, as time unfolds, the strength of their conviction becomes undeniable, and the doubters must confront the reality of their own pride and blindness. Why should you keep watching? Because this story is not just about the vindication of truth. It is about the power of silence, the collapse of arrogance, and the courage it takes to rise and step boldly into your calling. It is a message of faith, resilience, and purpose that will inspire you to embrace your truth and walk confidently in God's light. Stay with us as we uncover the journey of the chosen and the triumph of the divine truth they carry. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, have you ever felt the weight of knowing a truth that others cannot see? It is both a gift and a burden, a revelation that sets you apart while inviting doubt and ridicule. This journey begins at the crossroads of certainty and disbelief, where the bearers of truth stand firm in their convictions, even as the world around them mocks their clarity. Imagine the moment when a shroud of denial is lifted, and the doubters, once so confident in their skepticism, are forced to confront the undeniable. Their faces, once adorned with smug certainty, now reflect confusion, regret, and the weight of their own misplaced arrogance. This is the awakening of the skeptics, a pivotal moment when the power of truth begins to dismantle the walls of denial. Consider Noah, a man chosen by God to carry out an extraordinary mission. As he built the ark under the open sky, his neighbors laughed, their disbelief echoing through the air. To them, the idea of a flood was absurd, the actions of a madman. Yet, Noah remained steadfast, trusting in God's plan even when the rain seemed like a distant impossibility. When the skies finally opened and the waters began to rise, the truth Noah carried became impossible to ignore. Beloved believers, can you see parallels in your own life? Have you ever been dismissed or misunderstood for standing by a truth that others could not yet grasp? This is the paradox of the chosen, to see clearly when others cannot, and to endure their doubt with grace and patience. Imagine a candle in a dark room, its flame small but steady. The darkness presses against it, seeking to snuff it out, but the flame persists, illuminating what was hidden. You are that candle, chosen to bring light into spaces others fear to enter. Your truth is your flame, and it burns with a brilliance that no amount of skepticism can extinguish. The awakening of the skeptics is not a moment of triumph for the chosen, but a moment of revelation for all. It is the beginning of understanding, a crack in the facade of disbelief through which light begins to pour. Yet, it is also a moment of vulnerability, as those who doubted must now confront the reality of their own blindness. Let me ask you, how do you respond when those who once dismissed you begin to see the truth? Do you meet them with grace, understanding that their journey to acceptance is just beginning? Or do you carry the weight of bitterness, wishing they had seen what you have always known? Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, your role in this awakening is not to boast but to guide. Just as Noah's ark became a refuge for life amidst the flood, your truth is a sanctuary for those who are ready to see. The journey of the skeptics is a journey of humility, a recognition that their certainty was built on sand, while your faith was anchored on the rock of divine revelation. The Bible reminds us that truth is not always immediately accepted but is ultimately undeniable. Jesus himself faced skepticism, even from those closest to him. His miracles were met with awe and doubt in equal measure, yet he did not falter. His confidence was rooted not in the approval of others, but in the will of the Father. Beloved believers, let this be your example. Your truth is not dependent on validation from the world, but is sustained by the God who revealed it to you. Like a lighthouse guiding ships through a storm, your light is a constant, unwavering beacon, even when the waves crash and the winds howl. As we continue this journey, we will explore the burden of carrying such a truth and the responsibility that comes with being chosen to bear it. Stay with me, for the next chapter delves deeper into the resilience required to hold onto your convictions in the face of misunderstanding and doubt. Let me leave you with this question. What truths has God revealed to you, and how have you stood firm in them despite the challenges? Share your thoughts as we journey together toward a deeper understanding of what it means to be one of God's chosen. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, have you ever felt the weight of knowing something so profound, so divine, that it sets you apart? To carry the truth is to shoulder a heavy burden, a responsibility that demands strength, faith, and resilience. It is a gift from God, yet it comes with a price. The loneliness of being misunderstood, the sting of rejection, and the isolation of walking a path few can comprehend. The story of Noah exemplifies this burden. Imagine him, a man with divine clarity, hammering away at an ark while the world around him laughed. His neighbors, blinded by their own ignorance, saw his obedience as folly. They mocked his faith, his conviction, his trust in God's word. Yet Noah did not waver. His actions were not driven by the approval of men, but by the calling of the Creator. Beloved believers, have you ever found yourself in Noah's position? Perhaps you have been ridiculed for your faith or doubted for standing firm in your convictions. The burden of truth is not for the faint of heart. It is a journey that requires courage, not only to endure the scorn of others, but to trust in God's plan, even when it is invisible to the world. This burden is not without purpose. It is a refining fire, shaping you into the person God has called you to be. Like gold purified in the flame, your faith and character are strengthened through adversity. The isolation you feel is not a punishment but a preparation. God is setting you apart, equipping you for the mission ahead. Imagine a mountain climber scaling a peak. The higher they climb, the thinner the air, the lonelier the journey. Yet, with each step, the view becomes clearer, the summit closer. You are that climber, beloved believers. The burden you carry is the price of the clarity you have been given, and the reward is a perspective few will ever see. But the burden of truth is not meant to be carried alone. God walks with you, strengthening your steps and lighting your path. In Matthew 11 verses 28 to 30, Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." This is the promise of God, that He will not only reveal the truth to you but sustain you as you carry it. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, let me ask you, how have you carried the burden of truth in your life? Have you allowed it to strengthen your faith, or have you struggled under its weight? These questions are not meant to judge but to invite reflection, to remind you that you are not alone in this journey. The burden of truth also reveals the fragility of those who reject it. The video reminds us that skepticism is often rooted not in clarity but in fear. People cling to their illusions because the truth threatens the safety of their ignorance. To see the world as it truly is requires humility, and humility is a path many are unwilling to walk. Consider the Pharisees, who rejected Jesus not because they lacked evidence but because they feared losing their power. Their pride blinded them to the miracles unfolding before their eyes. Similarly, those who reject the truth you carry are often wrestling not with you but with their own insecurities. Your role, beloved believers, is not to force the truth upon others but to live it with grace and conviction. Like Noah, your actions speak louder than words. Your faithfulness, your resilience, your quiet confidence, they are the testimony of your chosenness. Imagine a seed planted in rocky soil. Though the ground is hard, the seed persists, breaking through the surface to reach for the sun. You are that seed, and the truth you carry is your root. The conditions around you may not be ideal, but your perseverance is a testament to the power of God's revelation. The burden of truth is heavy, but it is also transformative. It shapes you, refines you, and prepares you for the purpose God has placed on your life. As we continue this journey, we will explore the power of silence and how it becomes a weapon for the chosen in a world that often refuses to listen. Stay with me, beloved believers, for the next chapter will reveal how silence can be your strength, your strategy, and your declaration of faith. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, have you ever felt the pull to defend yourself, to explain your truth to a world unwilling to listen? In a world filled with noise, where voices clamor to be heard and opinions clash like thunder, the power of silence often goes unnoticed. Yet, silence is one of the most profound tools in the arsenal of the chosen. It is a declaration of faith, a testament to trust in God's timing, and a strategy for revealing the truth in its own time. The video draws on the story of Elijah, who stood firm while the prophets of Baal cried out in vain, their voices rising in desperation as they sought to summon their powerless gods. In contrast, Elijah waited in silence, his faith unwavering, his confidence rooted in the living God. When the moment came, God's power was revealed not through noise but through undeniable action. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, have you ever faced moments when silence seemed like surrender, when the world demanded answers you were not ready to give? The truth is, silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the strength to trust that God will speak on your behalf, that the truth will emerge without your intervention. Imagine a still pond on a windy day. While the wind ripples the surface, the depths remain calm, undisturbed. Your silence is that depth, a place of unshakable confidence in the midst of external chaos. It is the quiet assurance that your light cannot be dimmed by the shadows around you. The power of silence is perhaps most profoundly illustrated in the story of Jesus before Pilate. As accusations were hurled at him, he did not argue or defend himself. Matthew 27 verse 14 tells us, "But Jesus made no reply, not even to a single charge, to the great amazement of the governor." His silence spoke louder than any words could, a declaration of trust in God's plan and a demonstration of divine strength. Beloved believers, how often do we feel the need to prove ourselves, to validate our truth in the eyes of others? The video reminds us that silence is not a retreat but a strategy. It is the choice to let time and truth work in harmony, revealing what words often cannot. Think of the story of Joseph. Betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and falsely accused, Joseph did not seek revenge or justification. He remained faithful, trusting that God's plan would unfold in its own time. His silence, his refusal to retaliate, became a canvas on which God painted a story of redemption and triumph. Silence also exposes the desperation of those who oppose the truth. Like the prophets of Baal, whose cries grew louder and more frantic, those who resist the truth often reveal their own fear and insecurity. Your silence, beloved believers, becomes a mirror, reflecting their struggles while highlighting your strength. Let me ask you, how can you use silence as a tool in your own journey? Have you experienced moments when restraint spoke louder than words? These questions are not just rhetorical. They are an invitation to reflect on the role of silence in your life as one of God's chosen. Imagine a lighthouse standing firm on a stormy night. Its light cuts through the darkness, not with sound but with steady brilliance. It does not shout at the waves or argue with the wind. It simply shines. You are that lighthouse, and your silence is the foundation of your strength. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, your silence is not passive. It is active faith. It is a declaration that you trust in God's justice, that you believe the truth will prevail, and that you are confident in your calling. As we continue this journey, we will explore the collapse of arrogance, the moment when those who resist the truth are brought face to face with their own pride. Stay with me, for the next chapter reveals the inevitable downfall of falsehood in the presence of divine revelation. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, have you ever witnessed the unraveling of pride in the face of undeniable truth? Arrogance blinds people, creating a barrier between them and the wisdom that could save them. But in time, arrogance falters, collapsing under the weight of its own falsehoods. This is the moment when those who resisted the truth are confronted with their own limitations, their illusions shattered, and their pride laid bare. The video vividly portrays the collapse of arrogance. Those who once ridiculed the chosen ones, dismissing their truth as folly, now find themselves grappling with the consequences of their denial. Their confidence, once so unshakable, has been reduced to doubt. Their pride, which shielded them from acknowledging the truth, has become their downfall. Consider Pharaoh, whose hardened heart led him to deny God's power despite the miracles performed before his eyes. His arrogance not only brought suffering to his people, but ultimately led to his own ruin. Pharaoh's story is a cautionary tale of what happens when pride prevents humility and denial blocks revelation. Beloved believers, have you encountered individuals whose pride blinded them to the truth? Perhaps you have experienced their resistance, their mocking, or their attempts to undermine your convictions. Yet, just as the walls of Jericho fell before the power of God, so too will the fortress of arrogance crumble when confronted with the light of divine truth. Arrogance thrives on a sense of control. The skeptics in the story clung to their illusions of superiority, refusing to accept that they could be wrong. To admit the truth would require humility, a willingness to acknowledge their own fallibility. For many, this is a step too far. But the collapse of arrogance is not merely a moment of reckoning. It is an opportunity for redemption. Imagine a dam holding back a river. For years, it stands firm, seemingly invincible. But as the pressure builds, cracks begin to form, and the structure can no longer contain the force of the water. When the dam breaks, the river flows freely, unstoppable in its power. The collapse of arrogance is like that dam. It cannot hold back the truth forever. Let me ask you, how do you respond when arrogance collapses before you? Do you meet it with compassion, understanding that this moment of vulnerability is an opportunity for healing? Or do you let resentment take root, forgetting that even those who resist the truth are deserving of grace? The story of Saul and David offers a powerful example of humility triumphing over pride. Saul, consumed by jealousy and blinded by arrogance, sought to destroy David, the anointed king. Yet, despite Saul's relentless pursuit, David chose mercy over vengeance. When Saul's pride finally collapsed, it was David's humility that stood as a testament to God's wisdom and grace. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, your role in the collapse of arrogance is not to celebrate the downfall of others, but to extend a hand of grace. The truth you carry is not a weapon to destroy, but a light to guide. Those who mocked and resisted you may now look to you for understanding, for hope, and for a path forward. Imagine a tree shedding its dead leaves in the fall. The shedding is not an act of destruction, but of renewal, making way for new growth. Similarly, the collapse of arrogance is not an end, but a beginning, a chance for those who resisted the truth to embrace it and grow in its light. The video reminds us that the chosen ones of God are not defined by their opposition, but by their resilience, their grace, and their faith. As arrogance collapses, the chosen rise, their light shining brighter than ever. Let me ask you once more, how will you respond when the truth you carry finally breaks through the walls of pride? Will you extend compassion, knowing that the journey from denial to acceptance is one of transformation? As we move into the final chapter of this journey, we will explore the call to action, the moment when the chosen ones rise fully into their purpose, walking boldly in the light of truth. Stay with me, beloved believers, for the most powerful revelation is yet to come. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, as we arrive at the final chapter of this journey, the moment has come to rise. The time for hesitation is over. The collapse of arrogance, the unveiling of truth, and the refinement of your faith have all been leading to this. Your call to step boldly into the purpose for which you were chosen. The video concludes with a resounding message of empowerment. Do not wait for the approval of others. Do not seek permission from a world that cannot understand the divine light within you. Instead, embrace your calling with courage and faith. The truth you carry is not meant to be hidden. It is meant to shine, to transform, and to inspire. Consider the story of Peter, who, after denying Jesus 3 times, was restored and called to lead. His failures did not disqualify him. They prepared him for the mission ahead. Peter's boldness, rooted in the forgiveness and calling of Christ, became the foundation upon which the early church was built. Like Peter, you are called to step forward, not despite your struggles, but because of them. Imagine a bridge stretching across a vast chasm. Each step forward feels uncertain, yet with each stride, the path becomes clearer, the destination closer. Your journey as one of God's chosen is like that bridge. The call to action requires faith to take the first step, trusting that God will provide the way. Let me ask you, what holds you back from fully embracing your calling? Is it fear of failure, doubt in your abilities, or the weight of others' opinions? These obstacles are real, but they are not insurmountable. God has equipped you with everything you need to fulfill your purpose. His strength is made perfect in your weakness. His light shines brightest in your darkest moments. The call to action is not just a call to do, it is a call to be. Be the light in a world that often stumbles in darkness. Be the voice of truth in a chorus of confusion. Be the embodiment of faith, hope, and love in a world that desperately needs them. Your role is not to save the world, but to reflect the one who can. The video emphasizes that the path ahead will not always be easy, but it will always be worth it. Each step you take in obedience, each moment you choose faith over fear, brings you closer to the fullness of your purpose. The world may resist, but the truth you carry cannot be silenced. Imagine a fire ignited in a dark forest. It starts small, flickering against the night, but as it grows, it illuminates everything around it, dispelling shadows and bringing warmth. Your calling is that fire, a spark of divine purpose that has the power to transform not only your life but the lives of those you touch. The video ends with a challenge. Rise up. Stand firm in your faith. Take action. Whether it is speaking the truth, extending grace, or stepping into a new opportunity, your obedience to God's calling will open doors you never imagined possible. Let me ask you, what is the first step you can take today toward living out your purpose? It doesn't have to be grand. It simply needs to be faithful. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Declare your readiness by typing, "I am ready," as a symbol of your commitment to walk boldly in faith. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, your time is now. The journey you have traveled has prepared you for this moment. You are not alone. God walks beside you, guiding your steps and lighting your path. Your truth, your strength, and your faith are gifts, not just for you but for the world. Subscribe to The Anointed for more messages of inspiration and empowerment. Share this video with someone who needs encouragement, someone who may not yet realize they are also chosen. Together, let us rise, let us shine, and let us fulfill the purpose God has placed on our lives. The story is not over. It is just beginning. Your light is unstoppable, your purpose undeniable, and your victory assured. The best is yet to come. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, as we conclude this journey, let us reflect on the profound truth this story reveals. You were chosen not by accident, but by divine design. Your trials, your triumphs, and even your moments of silence are all part of a greater plan. This is your time to rise, to embrace your calling, and to walk boldly in the purpose God has prepared for you. The message is clear: truth will always prevail. It may face resistance, it may be mocked or misunderstood, but it cannot be silenced. You, as bearers of this truth, are called to stand firm, to let your light shine, and to bring hope and clarity to a world that often stumbles in darkness. But this calling is not just about enduring, it is about acting. What steps can you take today to live out the truth within you? How can your life become a beacon for those who are searching for faith, hope, and meaning? Share your thoughts in the comments below and type, "I am ready," to declare your commitment to this divine journey. If this message has inspired you, please like this video and subscribe to The Anointed for more empowering reflections on faith, resilience, and purpose. Share this video with someone who needs encouragement, someone who needs to be reminded of the strength they carry and the light they were born to share. Beloved believers, this is your moment. Rise boldly, step forward in faith, and trust that God's hand is upon you. The journey ahead may be challenging, but it is filled with opportunities to make a difference, to reflect God's glory, and to fulfill the purpose for which you were chosen. Stay strong, stay faithful, and stay anointed. Until next time, may God's light guide your steps, and may His love fill your heart. The best is yet to come. Amen.